Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Fan Behavior. I am Zoe, back with Hannah.
Hi.
Back from her trip from Austin. So much to talk about, obviously, in case if you haven't been up on our social media, then you're going to be in for a surprise this episode. But I do think there's probably people on here that are just like only here because they want to hear about your Daniel experience, which we will save for the end.
Yeah.
We're doing the classic, make you all tune into the whole episode.
Sorry.
To hear the Daniel story at the end. But obviously Hannah was in Austin for a couple of days. Well, I guess you were there Wednesday for the Friday of the weekend, but you were there before the weekend began. So we'll cover the stuff that she got up to. Sprint weekend, so there's a lot to touch on. So I'm going to run through some of the news items first, then we can get into your adventures, and then we can get into the actual on-track action.
Perfect.
Okay, so the first piece of news is that it was officially announced this week that George and Kimi have re-signed with Mercedes for 2026. Obviously, a lot of, it's multi-year. George was saying it's multi-year. Obviously, that could mean...
It's so vague.
Nothing. I mean, it could be a guaranteed 1 year plus an option for a second. I think that might be what it is. I don't actually know, but I think we all expected this to be what was going to happen. Thoughts, feelings?
Great.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we know. And, I never like the vagueness of the multi-year. I think it's let's just call it what it is. Just be honest. But it also doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would be shocked if it's like a for sure 2 year. To me, it seems like one with the possibility of one, but also for Mercedes to have an out if they could get Max or something. So.
Exactly. It's all about Max.
Max.
I mean, George has definitely he has totally earned the right to be at, he's really done a great job this season. Kimi, he's had his ups and downs, but I think overall for being 18, 19 years old, he has done a really, really good job. And he, again, deserves, I mean, you can't put him in the seat for 1 year and expect him to be fantastic. You've got to do it knowing that there's going to be some ups and downs. And again, overall, I think it's been positive. So I think it's a good dynamic duo. I think it's a good old and young. I mean, George is not old, but older,
veteran and rookie.
I think the only seat that we're still, we're obviously officially unclear about the Red Bull V-carb situation for next season. And then also, will Franco get re-signed? I think it's looking like he will get re-signed. So really it's just Red Bull V-carb, which I'm sure we'll get in a few weeks. So yeah, congrats to George and Kimi. Looking for, and with the rumors that Merc could be the fastest or have the best engine next season. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I agree. I'm excited.
This is just a funny thing I wanted to just shout out. So there was a graphic that was made about the 5 driver. I think it's 5 drivers still in contention for Drivers' Championship. Oh. And Charles Leclerc commenting, being like, let's go, baby.
Yeah.
I'm still in it. Hilarious. And again, this is just another example of why he's a comedy king.
Totally.
He's just in on the jokes and it's funny. I love
it.
that for him. Also, Apple has now officially taken over as the US F1 broadcasting or has the F1 broadcasting rights for 2026 and beyond, which basically means if you watch on F1 TV, you're going to have to watch on Apple. And if you watch on ESPN, you're going to have to watch on Apple. Apple is the place to be. Still no word as to what broadcast that's going to be. If it's going to be Sky Sports, is it going to be F1, just the F1 TV crew goes to Apple? Is it going to be a totally brand new broadcasting crew? I did think it was interesting. I don't know if you caught this but Daniel reshared it to his Instagram story.
Yeah, I did notice that. And I thought that was kind of weird.
That was kind of weird. I'm like, why?
Unless they paid him $1 billion.
I know, but he would have had to put ad or something.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. I did think that was interesting.
That was weird. And I'm like, is that a sign that he's going to be involved in some capacity with the broadcast? It wouldn't. Again, if you're Apple or whoever, and you are wanting to make your own broadcasting crew, he is someone that you'd want as the Jensen Button type.
Totally.
Just so I thought that was kind of weird because I'm like, why else? He's been so MIA for so much of this F1 stuff. It's not like he's sharing a bunch of F1 content. So for him to share that, I felt like it was kind of weird. So TBD, it is. I think there's a lot of people who watch F1 TV who are like, I don't want to now have to go pay for Apple or we like the Sky Sports broadcast, which is controversial, but so it's like, okay, well, will we be able to watch that broadcast? Like, will that? So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
It will be interesting, but I think I saw, because I just wasn't sure what the like cost implications were going to be for everybody, but I think. And I've never gotten into F1 TV, so I know that the people who do watch on F1 TV like are very diehard, very into it. But it's not. It's actually going to cost you less money. Yes.
Well, not necessarily. I don't know how much an Apple TV.
I think it's $12.99 a month.
I think it's going to be more expensive.
Oh, okay.
As I think F1 TV. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's like $80
a year,
something like that. So yes, it will be more expensive. You now can watch other TV shows.
Yeah,
and
Apple
want.
does have great stuff.
But it's just. I mean, I did like the math the other day about the amount of money I spend on like my live TV, my streaming. I spend like probably close to like $1,300 a year on streaming services.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and a majority of that is because I pay $100 a month essentially for live TV, which is crazy. And just all the different things you have to pay for now in order to watch the things you want to watch. And as people who watch a lot of TV, you end up spending a lot of money. And so it's just like, but I'm going to wait to reserve judgment until we know exactly what it's going to look like.
I know. I am going to have a real hard time, though, if they take away my Sky Sports broadcast. And I recognize like that we're, in the minority of the people who prefer that broadcast, but,
it's just what we know.
Yeah.
It's what we know.
And like, so I guess I'll just, do I just like get a VPN and watch Sky Sports? Because I will. Like, that's fine. I just need to understand the assignment.
Yeah. But you might not if you do actually end up liking the Apple TV broadcast more.
Yeah, maybe, but like, I mean, never say never.
Or if they pay up to get certain broadcasters to go over to Apple TV, like anything is possible.
Yeah, if you just believe.
So we'll wait and see there.
Okay.
Just a quick note: COTA has been extended to 2034. Not a surprise at all.
Nope.
But
I love that track. I really do.
It is a great track, and not a shock. It is I was going to say it's the best US F1 race track, but Vegas has really shown up. It's definitely better than Miami.
And Vegas is just like, it was somewhat unexpected that it would be as good as it is.
Exactly.
But
COTA is, in terms of a racing track, like it is a fantastic racing circuit. It doesn't always necessarily bring out the best races, but it's a great track.
Yeah.
We also we heard some, chatter among the McLaren drivers and whatever, that there's quote unquote repercussions from the Singapore incident between Oscar and Lando, calling it an incident is even kind of like going even too far, because it wasn't, they kind of barely made contact, but obviously the point for Oscar was I had to really avoid contact. What are those repercussions? Again, like, I'm just
over it.
I'm over McLaren. Like, I found myself today being like, I'm rooting for Max to win this championship. Like, and I know that's crazy, but I'm just kind of like,
the repercussions should be for McLaren.
It's so not even like about the drivers anymore. I'm just like done with it all. I'm done with it all. Like the whole, it's just, I'm kind of like, you deserve to lose this.
Yeah.
In a way.
You're just playing games.
And
I know that's what we're all doing, but come on. I don't know. It's just annoying.
And you're just saying things, and your papaya rules and repercussions. It's just all these like, what's the word? Buzz words.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like,
and everyone is rolling their eyes at you. Everyone, fans and non-fans alike, are just like,
Oscar,
what
Lando,
the hell are you
McLaren fans.
about?
Yeah, all the fans everywhere.
And I just like, did someone? I don't remember where I heard this. Who was I talking to that said this? That the repercussions for like Max, I think maybe said, or someone said that the repercussions was that Lando wasn't getting Kinder eggs anymore, like the candy. I'm sure that was a joke, and I don't remember where I heard that, but that did make me laugh. Like, if that is, it's not, but if that's factual, that's really funny.
Yeah.
And like stupid.
It's just, I don't know. It just annoyed me hearing that. So anyway, okay, well, let's get to so you went to the Williams livery launch. Can you talk about that? What was it like?
So we did not know it was a livery launch. We had an assumption that was probably what would happen. But so we met at the Williams fan zone, and then they had transportation for the group that was going out to Lone Star Ranch, which was beautiful. I didn't do any of the sporting stuff because I was kind of running around talking to people. But they had archery and lasso, and there was some
was it axe throwing?
Tomahawk.
Oh, okay.
We were in Austin, you know. It's not just your normal axe.
Sure.
Come on now. Don't be silly. And barbecue for dinner, and saw a lot of our friends there, which was awesome. And the delivery launch, Carlos, wow, gorgeous man. And Will Buxton was Will Buxtoning. Like, he's just so great. I just love him for all of his cheeseballness. And
another controversial take.
I know
your love of Will Buxton, but yes,
but it's like it's George Russell. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing. It's like he is so himself.
Yes,
you know,
he's pretty earnest.
Yeah, and it's funny.
Yeah,
and yeah, so that was cool seeing, getting to be there for that. It was funny because during, it was like very quiet because we were kind of out, on this ranch. But every now and then during the panel, there was like cows like nearby just mooing. And so that was really like Carlos started saying something and then they were just like, it's like, okay.
And the livery was like a 2002 homage throwback.
It was, which I didn't, it wasn't familiar to me.
Sure, of course not.
But everyone there seemed to appreciate it. They also had the CEO of Atlatison, I think that's how you say it, on the panel, and Juan Pablo Montoya, who I recognize is a legend. I unfortunately am not familiar with his work. I do feel grateful that I
now
had
you
that
are.
experience. Yep,
that's exciting.
And yeah, it was a really good time. Saw a lot of our friends, and
then you went to the S's party on.
I went to the S's party the next night.
That's a magazine for those who don't know.
Yep, and saw a lot of our friends there. I did do something that I am very upset about. Okay. I didn't tell you this, but it's really like not that big of a deal, but it made me cringe, and I like still think about it. And I've also publicly on the podcast said like not to do this. At one point, Liam and Isaac are walking by and I was like, good luck this weekend, Liam, whatever. And then when Isaac walked by, I like patted his shoulder and said, good luck. Do not touch these people. What are you doing? Don't touch this man.
You just patted him on the shoulder.
That's
understand,
okay. But like, no, it's not okay actually. And I'm, it is what it is. But he was like surrounded by so many people, and I was just so excited because I just love Isaac. And I was just like, good luck this weekend. And then I was like, put your hands away.
I did see videos and pictures like they were being hounded by people.
It was crazy.
Like very much. It looked very chaotic.
Well, and from I'm from an event planner perspective, where they were going to sign the magazines, like the party was in full swing, and the only way that they could get to where they needed to go to sign the magazines was through a massive crowd of people. And that was obviously, they didn't like have anyone come like separate the crowd or like,
sure.
Which I feel like they probably could have, and whatever. So yeah, I did feel a little crazy and hectic.
Well, they also had a new livery this weekend as well, and new race suits, and I think Mercedes had new race suits. McLaren, was there anyone else that had new? Did Stake? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe not. I can't think so. Remember, because it's always like sometimes they do suits and not the livery. But I know Williams and
what was the V-carb livery?
It was like a tortoise type of thing.
All right.
Tortoise look.
It wasn't my particular favorite. It was giving orange camo.
Yes, it
which I was
kind of
struggling with.
Orange camo.
But what else?
Yeah, gotta take a risk.
And that they did.
Okay, let's get to sprint quali. You were there for sprint quali, so we can talk about that. So just some quick, we don't have to go into it too much into detail. Obviously, Yuki didn't make it to the line in time to start his final lap in Q1, which was awesome for him. And so I was like, oh my God, of course he's not going to make it in time. Like this is...
Why would he?
Yeah.
Why would they set him up for success? That's crazy.
Exactly. So anyway, so he was out in SQ1. It was Gabby, Esteban, Yuki, Franco, and Ollie. And then out in SQ2, Liam, Lance, Pierre, Isaac, and Kimi Ferrari barely made it through into SQ3. We get Max on pole, Lando, Oscar, P2, P3, Nico, P4. Very impressive from Nico. Sometimes, he's kind of one of those guys who's like, he does nothing for a period of time and then boom, he gets his first podium. Or he does nothing and then P4 in the sprint Quali, but Ferrari just looked really bad, which wasn't like, people were acting on the broadcast. I'm sure you didn't hear it, but they were talking like it was kind of shocking how poorly they were doing. And I was like, you guys, come on. Yes, should they be fighting to get into SQ3?
Ferrari in general,
no.
It's shocking, but
yeah.
Why
now,
are we shocked?
They turned things around this weekend, but it wasn't that crazy. How was your experience at Sprint Quali?
It was great. We were there. We got to the track probably like 1:32. We were at Club SI, which was great. It was air conditioning as best it can when people are like opening the doors all the time. We were at turn 12, which was a fun spot to be at. It was very hot. I mean, I was out there watching when cars were on track, and a lot of the people that I was with for work and stuff were out there, and then they just started dropping like flies. They're like, it's way too hot, and no one really knew what was going on. I continue to have a grievance with the fan experience on track. I recognize that we were in hospitality and there are TVs inside and stuff, but if you want to be in the seats watching, the screens were so far away. They were basically like on either end, and you could not hear the commentary. Now, whatever, I had my phone out like I always do, and I was listening as best I could, but I just think it's such a miss, and I'll never get over it. So, but yeah, that was fun. I did see someone, and I didn't get her name because I suck, but there was a listener that was sitting in front of us. So she says hello. Thank you for saying hi. Hope you guys had a great rest of the weekend. And yeah, so if you're ever interested in hospitality, Club SI was great. I will say it was quite crowded on Friday, so I can only imagine that it's even more crowded on Saturday and Sunday. But the food was pretty good. The tequila was tequilaing, and yeah, we had a really nice time.
Good.
And I feel like the other thing that's nice about that experience is if you decide to go to the I didn't go to the concert, but some of the other people that I was with did, and they'll take you from Club SI actually onto the track and then walk you down to the super stage, and you have like I think instead of being in like the lawn on GA, there's like kind of a pit or whatever, like the front area you can be in, which is nice.
Fun.
Yeah. So it was good times.
Good. All right, let's get to the sprint. So drama.
So awesome.
Oscar and Lando at the start. Oscar kind of tries to pull a bit of a switchback move. He gets kind of hit by Nico, and then he hits Lando. Oscar and Lando both out of the sprint race. Now, I'm going to get to the Zach Brown comments about Nico later in the episode, but there was some blame put towards Nico. It was a turn one incident. Yeah. That's the epitome of a turn. I don't think anyone was deserving of a penalty. Yeah. I think if you were to place blame, it was on Oscar for being a little bit overly ambitious and thinking that move was going to work at that point in time. But did I think he was like doing something egregious?
Yeah,
no. Do I think Nico was doing anything bad? Also, no. Also, poor Fernando.
I know.
There was a shot of the whole thing, and he was on for being in P2.
Yeah.
Except for that freaking tire that just had to take him out.
Crazy.
It was reminding me of, I think it was Brazil a couple years ago. Do you remember when the tire flew and hit Daniel's rear wing?
Yes.
And it was just like, what are the chances? Yeah, oh my God.
You've got to be kidding.
You've got to be kidding.
I know. I'm like, I feel like I didn't hear anything from Fernando all weekend. And then it was just like, oh, bye.
And then Yuki drives over Nico's wing. And I mean, they posted the onboard of his start. It was like Mario Kart. He was avoiding people, avoiding debris, it was just like, this is chaos. And then thankfully the piece actually ended up going out of his car, but he made up 11 spots, which was crazy.
Well, it's funny. It's like, so you have near damage and you do better.
Exactly.
Then, it's interesting.
Yeah. He actually benefited from being in 18th probably than he would have if he started closer to the front.
Totally. He could have ended up like Fernando.
Exactly. Or he could have ended up like Carlos, who ended up in third place, which was really impressive. Charles was in fourth. The
cheers for Carlos was really sweet.
Yes. He was very, appreciated in that moment. George tried to make a move on Max, which didn't really work. But you know what? Appreciate the chance, taking the risk. lands on Esteban.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Crazy.
What are you trying to do there? I was like, I understand, you know, trying to make something happen, but it just seemed like there was no way that was gonna. If I was Esteban, I'd be like, what
you doing? Yeah.
And Lance ended up getting a 5-place grid penalty for that, as he should have. But like, I was just, what the hell? Ollie gets a 10-second penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage, so he was dropped out of the points. Max wins.
Yeah, he did.
And very impressive. Great job by him. I don't know. It was chaotic, obviously, because of the race start. There wasn't a ton that happened like within the sprint necessarily, but I thought it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had to do with obviously the
turn one stuff.
The turn one and Carlos getting in the podium.
Yeah, and I was also chuckling when Martin and Crofty were like, "Oh yeah, nothing happens in these sprint races."
Yeah.
Like they were just,
yes.
And sometimes nothing does. But
yeah,
exactly. I appreciated that they were in on the
and as we've said before, Austin's one of the best places for a sprint race because you can actually, there is potential for overtaking, there is potential for making things happen. I think what's the hardest thing about the sprint race is just that if you because you don't change your tire and there's no tire offset or there's no tire strategy involved, it does make it harder for there to be unless you're starting out, unless the race begins with people out of position, it then becomes a challenge for there to be any real like overtaking because everyone kind of maintains their position.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a decent sprint. It was good, and again, the chaos of the McLaren stuff made it really interesting. Anything else about sprint before we get to Quali? I know we're kind of just flying through it, but there's a lot to get through.
And I didn't watch Quali.
Okay, so I can fill you in on that. So, because Hannah was flying back while that was happening. So Isaac gets out in Q1, causing a red flag. He just kind of lost the car, spins, crashes, which was a bummer for him. He was, he is one of the guys that when he makes a mistake, he is banging on the steering wheel. He's banging on his head. He's very hard on himself, which is why you needed to give him a pat on the shoulder.
What was the clip? I saw the clip of his engineers talking about Bottas. Is that from a long time ago?
Oh, no. I think it was.
Was that this weekend?
I think so.
That's just funny to me. He's like, dude, you have to stop with that. There's no Bottas on track.
I think that was from maybe practice. I don't remember what that was, what
Doesn't
session
matter.
that was from. Both Lance and Alex had Q1 laps deleted. So out in Q1 was Isaac, Alex, Lance, Esteban, and Gabby. Tough for Alex.
Yeah.
Q2, out in Q2, Franco, Pierre, Yuki, Liam, Nico. Yuki and Liam were getting in a bit of a squabble. I mean, not like they were upset with each other over the radio. Yuki was feeling like Liam was getting in his way and kind of intentionally blocking him. I mean, I think we all kind of figured like Yuki and Liam are fighting for their lives, probably for that final seat in VCARB. And so I can understand there being some like animosity between them. Max, so in Q3, Max puts in a great first lap, but then he actually doesn't make it to the lap or to the line in time to do his next lap in Q3, but he had such a good enough gap from his first lap that he still got pole without doing another lap, which was really crazy.
That's awesome.
And so like on the radio, GP was basically like, thank you for saving my ass because like I didn't get you to the line in time. I'm like, this is a Red Bull problem because it happened to Yuki the day before. And then, so it's like, let's be better about getting to the line in time, guys.
But also thank you, GP, for owning your mistakes.
Exactly. And thank you to Max for being the GOAT and, getting it done regardless.
Yeah.
So Max was pole, Lando P2, Charles P3. Very impressive recovery from Lando. And honestly, also Charles Leclerc getting it into P3 after the not great qualifying the day before. He won in Austin last year, so I think this is a track he seems to enjoy. So it was a decently good qualifying. I do love that track, like at sunset time. It's very beautiful coming, over the hills and stuff. It's quite nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get to the race.
Okay.
So at the start, it's like, okay, we found out that a few people were going to be starting on softs. One of them being Charles Leclerc. And you just kind of knew, like, this is they're doing this because this is the best chance that they think he has to make up a position at the start. It was interesting. I don't know if you heard this after the race. Charles Leclerc said to Lando in the cool down room, like, I'm surprised you guys didn't start on softs.
Oh no, I didn't.
And Karun then like was commenting on that, and he was like, he's kind of right. Like, it is interesting that McLaren, that that start could have been their chance to catch Max, and it's interesting they didn't take the risk of like, well, let's put Lando on soft to try to get Max at the start.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get Max at the start, it's gonna be very hard for you to get him at a different position or point of the race. So I thought, that was kind of interesting. It works for Charles Leclerc, at least initially. He gets into P2 in the start, which was very exciting again for me. Max hold on to pole. Alex drops to last. He had a bit of a moment there.
He had an issue with Gabby.
Yeah, Gabby, but no further investigation there. Then we had Kimi and Carlos moment. Kimi kind of spins out. Carlos sort of runs into him. Carlos is out. Carlos. I mean, obviously, if you're a Carlos fan, I'm sure it was a bummer. But given like he's gotten a podium, a real actual one in Baku, he had the sprint podium. I was like, he's fine. I mean, I didn't feel like
it's still always a bummer, but
I felt worse for Kimi because I feel like Kimi is more in need of the good performances, just for his own confidence. But obviously it was a bummer for both of them. Then it was kind of like, okay, can Lando get by Charles Leclerc? And it was taking him
21 laps,
a very long time. I mean, it has to be said, excellent defense from Charles Leclerc.
Totally.
I was like, damn, he is doing an excellent job, and really holding him off as best as he could.
Yeah.
Lando then finally gets him, and then Charles pits, goes for the undercut. He then ends up getting like that spot back with the pit stop. He then loses it, but we'll get to that. Okay, so then we had, and if I'm skipping over things that you want to touch on, jump in, obviously. We then had the Ollie and Yuki battle, and I said, as like before it was happening, I was like, there's something's gonna happen with this battle, because you've got Yuki, he's a little bit unhinged, and you have Ollie, who's like rookie trying to prove, like, it's just a recipe for some chaos to happen. And Ollie goes to try to make a move. He kind of gets all spun out. He thought Yuki moved under braking, which caused him to spin. Stewards didn't see it, and I was kind of like, I mean, I know I'm obviously very biased, but I'm like,
oh well,
Yuki does nothing wrong here.
Yeah.
Ollie was not happy though.
No,
but he drops back. I think we need to talk about Oscar.
Yeah,
because it really feels like since Baku, since he DNF'd in that race, he's kind of lost something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. He doesn't seem like the type of guy who would have his confidence really shaken up, but it just feels like he's lost some of his edge or something.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
A little bit, yeah. And I don't know if it's also just the team dynamic, like if that's on, like, has anything to do with it too. But yeah, I don't know. Something just seems a little off kilter.
And maybe it's just, I mean, as we know with so many of these drivers, certain tracks are like, they prefer certain tracks over other tracks, and certain tracks you just feel more comfortable on, and others you don't. And maybe the last couple, he just haven't been tracks where he feels at his best. But it's kind of like, okay, Oscar, like you gotta click back into gear here, because like it's slipping through your fingers a little bit. And he's like really in need of a solid weekend quickly, like very quickly, because he was just, I mean, he did make up a spot in the start. He went from 6th to 5th, so I guess that's good, but like he just was making no ground. I mean, he could not catch up to Lewis at all.
And he was having issues with his front left tire.
His tires,
was affecting both of them.
And that's kind of always been like the knock on Oscar, is that he's like not a great tire whisper. Like he's not great with his tires or like managing his tires, and that's kind of always been people's like, when they have a critique about him, it's like, well, he doesn't really know how to manage his tires very well. Part of me was like,
seems like he's been doing fine.
He's been doing fine. I think it was more than that this weekend. His confidence seemed to be little bit shaken. So then Lando, obviously I mentioned Charles gets Lando in the pit stop, but then Lando, he like at first was like trying to pass him, then like had to drop back, and then was like, okay, now I'm gonna go for it. Obviously I was rooting for Charles Leclerc, but is what it is.
Yeah. I was really surprised too how many track limit issues there were.
Yes, there were quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. I did like when Charles was like, he was off.
Lando was off the track.
Yeah, like he's keeping his eyes on it.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to talk about in this race.
No, there
if
really
I'm being
wasn't.
honest. Like
No.
it wasn't the most exciting race. I still maintain I don't love a one-stop race. I much prefer a two-stop race.
Yeah.
Because it just mixes up the strategy a lot more. You have the offsetting tires, when to pit, when not to pit. I just feel like it makes it a much more of an interesting strategy game. And I didn't feel like there was as much overtaking. I don't know. It wasn't super exciting.
No.
Which is okay.
The Alpine tussle at the end was funny.
Franco being like, well, he's slow.
Yeah, so bye.
And I'm like, you're fighting for 17th place. Like, respectfully.
Well, and I think for me, it's, again, I know he has something to prove right now, and I totally get that. But when you're not even fighting for points and you've been told to stay behind, if you would have caused any sort of incident, you're done. Like, and again, it's risk reward, high risk, high reward.
Yes.
But like, I don't know. That gave me made me chuckle.
Yeah, and I wanted to hear what Pierre had to say.
I wonder if there will be repercussions.
Yeah, exactly. Flavio's saying, "Fuck the he's not a repercussions kind of guy."
Flavio's talking so much shit on repercussions.
Yeah, exactly. Well, okay, so Max wins. Amazing performance from Max. I mean, he gets pole in the sprint, pole in actual qualifying, wins the sprint, wins the actual race. Like, this man is coming for the championship. So right now, as the points stand, Oscar's at 346. Lando's at 332. So he's right there, 14 points back. And Max is at 306. I mean, he is 40 points back from the championship, which sounds like a lot.
But can be done.
But it can be done. And there's still 2 sprints left, I think.
Yes.
And, we got a good chunk of races left, so it's not impossible.
No.
I mean, the craziest thing would be if Lando and Oscar both DNF in the next race and Max wins. Because at that point, Max will have more points than
Lando.
Or no, he won't have more points than him, but he'll be like 2 points behind.
Crazy.
And just a handful of points behind Oscar. That would really make things like, oh my
Spicy.
God. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. And it makes me think, God, if he had just had a couple, like if he had managed to get a win or 2 earlier in the season when there was kind of that lull, like, I mean, it just feels like McLaren has just let this really slip through their fingers. And part of me, like, I don't totally fault them, obviously, because they have two people in contention. So I get that it's complicated and that they can't just say, well, we're going to go all in on one driver, because they can't.
Yeah,
I totally get that. But it feels like the hand-holding is not the right way to say it, but like the just trying to be so fair has then kind of created this situation where it's become very, I don't know. It's just kind of let Max creep back in, and it's like he's a shark smelling blood in the water, and he's going to come after you.
Yeah.
So if anyone can do it, it's Max. Like, genuinely, if anyone can pull this off, it is Max.
It would be so fun.
It would be insanity.
I know.
I would truly... And that's what I'm saying. I kind of am rooting for it, because I just think it would be so exciting and so fun. And especially, I mean, I think what we all would want is a final race. It's a 3-way fight for the championship, and anything can happen.
Yeah.
And not like, oh, it's 3-way fight. Like, if 2 people I want it to be like 5, 6, 7 points, very, very, very tight within the points spread. That would be really, really fascinating. So Max obviously wins. Lando catches Charles, so he's P2, Charles P3. Oscar almost catches Lewis at the end because Lewis thought he had a puncture, which I was kind of like, Lewis, just give it to Oscar.
Yeah.
Like, let him get the points.
Yeah, right.
But no, it's okay.
It's better for the championship battle.
Yeah, I guess so. Yuki P7, I just have to shout that out.
Yep.
You know, good job by, I did kind of, I don't know if you caught this at the end too, but I think it was Karun was like, you know, Yuki P7, like this just goes to show you that the Red Bull is like really, really good now. And I'm kind of like, okay, like it's a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, it is.
Because like,
thank God the car
P7
got better.
Is that good? Like it's decent. It's very strong, but like, you know, I don't know. It just felt very like they're kind of talking.
There.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hate that.
I know, but whatever, it's fine. Yeah. Was Nico P8? Do you have the breakdown? And then was Ollie P9 and Fernando P10?
Yeah.
I was hoping for Fernando to hold on to that P10, especially after yesterday. When it was Lance and Liam fighting, I thought this is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, absolute carnage.
This is not going to end well.
Carnage.
But to their credit, it was fine. Yeah. It was all good. Mm-hmm. But you know, there's certain people where you just kind of like higher risk for incidents here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. One of my coworkers was talking to me about, he was like, who are those Aramco guys? He was talking about Aston Martin. Oh. And I was like, oh, the Aston Martin drivers? She's like, yeah, why is one so old? I was like, first of all, he's probably your age, so let's tone it down. Second of all, he's the shit. Yeah, like, we love Fernando. Yeah. And he was like, and that other guy, like, what's his deal? I said, his dad owns the team. And he was like, oh.
Yeah, so funny. Also, speaking of older legends, I was laughing so hard at the Kimi Räikkönen post. Or like, what would you say to your younger self? Nothing. I wouldn't talk to him.
I want him back so bad. Like we just did not get to experience him in the way we should have.
Not even a little bit.
So funny.
So funny.
I was cracking up at that.
Yeah, he was
nothing. I wouldn't talk to him.
He's so funny. So anyway, so yeah, as I said, it's getting, you know, tighter and tighter. And I mean, if we, I don't know. I still am like, he's a little far back, but Lando and Oscar just kind of keep like letting things slip away. So
yeah,
it's all possible. It really is all possible. And I mean, the sprint crash between the McLarens like certainly does not help them at all.
No.
So anyway, we have Mexico next weekend. So a lot to like, we're right back into it, and we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Okay, let's do fan and foe listener question, and then we can do your Daniel talk while we do listener questions. Okay, do you want to share your fan?
Yeah, I was meeting Daniel Ricciardo.
Do you want to talk about it now?
No.
Okay.
But also, I don't know if you watched the grid walk at all.
I watched a little bit. In full disclosure, the Chiefs were playing at the same time. Yes,
nice.
31-0.
Oh wow! Sorry, Raiders.
Yes. So I had it on my computer while I was watching the Chiefs game, so I didn't see all of it. But tell me.
Well, Glenn Powell co-hosted at the beginning, which I just thought was funny. We love Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
Well, I love Glenn Powell.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm like pretty indifferent on him. He seems like a perfectly wonderful, nice guy.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that I want it to become a reoccurring thing that Martin has a co-host, unless it's Nico Rosberg. But I thought Glenn did a fine job. It was funny because I'm like, were those questions? Because he asked a question about the tires, like, are the tires important for overtaking? Mm-hmm. And I was like, did the production team ask you to ask that question, or was that? No hate. I'm just curious if that, because it's a bold question to ask on live television for a bunch of race fans. Yeah, it's something I would ask.
But you would have asked it for like you wouldn't ask it now. Totally. You would have asked it when you were first figuring out the sport. Totally. Which is fine. Maybe he is first figuring out the sport.
Totally.
Hook 'em. Okay, my fan is, and I feel like we say this, or I say this at least after like the last handful of US F1 races, but it really is, I feel like, again, it feels like it's even better this time around. The amount of creators, F1 creators, getting to do things with F1 sponsors or whatever is just, I cannot, if you are let's say within the last like year and a half, 2 year fan, it is night and day different now than what it was when we became fans. Totally. Like when we became fans, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Like F1 creators were not getting chances to do things with sponsors. We're not getting invited to the paddock. We're not getting to do anything. And now it feels like so many people are getting to do such cool things and getting to work with such, different like sponsors, teams, whatever. And I think it is so great and so cool. And like the content that comes out of it, I just think is not that people who aren't F1 fans, not that they can't make great content. I think it's like different, but I do think there is something very special and unique about an F1 fan getting to make F1 content with great access and like getting to see drivers, getting to see whoever. So
well, and I think it's great too, like what we were talking about before, kind of joking with like doing the lunch and learns for the like the non F1 fan creator, like the post that Michaela and I think Caroline posted with him too, like Phillips Hue hosted a group, and it seemed like it was definitely the balance. It was like definitely more F1 creators than non. But it was cool because even, I'm not going to remember his name, so apologies, but one of the creators they were with was like very complimentary and like excited about being able to learn about it from them. And I do think that there's a lot of value there because it also like makes like, I would think it makes the experience more enjoyable for the creators who aren't as familiar with the sport because they actually understand what's going on and they don't feel like they're in the dark. And I think for the most part, like F1 creators, like we all started off not knowing what was going on and so are very like excited too. Like one of the customers that I was with this weekend on Friday, she was like, it was the Porsche Carrera series and I was just like, you know how loud they are. She was like, now I thought F1 cars were pointy, and I was like, they are. Those aren't F1 cars. And like, honestly,
great question.
And I was like, totally great question. She goes, I didn't think so. But her friend, who is another customer, was like, he said that they were. And I was like, no, you can go tell him that you were right.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's great. And yeah, shout out to the brands who are doing that because it makes a huge difference.
And actually giving these creators like really good access and like really rewarding them, like giving them paddock access, giving them, you know, just like, I think we've talked about sometimes it can feel like with these sponsors or brands, not that they take advantage, that's the wrong word, but like they know that an F1 fan is going to be a lot more excited to like do the bare minimum for a brand, and they can maybe give them like an okay experience, but they would give like a non F1 creator a really great experience because they maybe aren't as like incentivized, you know? But it's nice to see that I think that's changing and people are actually getting to have like really awesome experiences. And it's just good for the whole, I don't know, creator space. And I will also say if you are a creator and you didn't get invited to things, because that's a whole other thing of like, why didn't I get invited to this party or this event, or why wasn't this sponsor asked, why didn't they ask me to do this? You know, that can be a whole hard thing. But I just think like, you know, keep plugging away and like the right thing will find you when it's supposed to. Yeah. And also you can't just make content with the hope that you're going to get. Yeah.
I would actually recommend you don't do that
because it's just, you're going to be entirely, it's not going to be worth it for you. I can promise you that. So anyway, happy about that. And I was happy to see all the different creators getting really cool things to do. Okay. Your foe. Do you have a foe?
It's hot in Austin, and like I'll just never recover from that. Yeah. I think it's like I hate sweating so much.
I love to sweat,
and the traffic. I mean, it took us a long time to get out of COTA.
It's quite the experience,
but you know.
My foe was Zach Brown blaming Nico Hülkenberg and saying that he was an amateur or like he shouldn't have been there. I can't remember. He did. In his defense, he did walk it back. He apologized. He did say he shouldn't have said that. He reviewed it. He takes back that blame, but I'm just like, dude, what? Like, come on, don't say those. Like, it felt mean. I didn't love. But
I'm glad he walked it back.
He walked it back.
He's also having a hell of a time right now with the public opinion.
Yes,
because with all the Alex Palou stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, I just didn't love that, and anyway, it doesn't matter now because it's been, and they seem to like, there was a photo I think today of Nico and Zach, like, shaking hands or whatever.
McLaren's
like,
PR team really does work overtime.
Let's get a photo here.
Yeah. Nico, do you mind? Would you shake his hand?
Yeah,
exactly. He probably doesn't even know that he said anything.
Anyway, all right, let's get to the listener questions, and then we'll obviously hear the most important story of the whole entire day. Forget the race. Okay. Verstappen is the GOAT, making everyone his bitch. LOL.
Retweet. Totally.
He is something else. I have to say that. He is very impressive, and it's a pleasure to watch. It's definitely, it's fun to see. It's like, people will oftentimes, this happens in sports, in every sport. When someone's great and dominant, people then kind of are like, they turn on the person and they're like, we don't want that person to win anymore, or that team to win anymore. But there is something really great about watching someone who is great do great. What they're doing. Yeah. And he is great.
Yeah. And like we've said too, I mean, I think it's a lot different than him just like winning by 30 seconds, like being 30 seconds ahead and winning every single race all the time.
Yes.
Like
it does feel like
for
he's
a Max
earning
fan,
it.
It gets redundant. Yeah. Like, this has been fun, and like to hear him be excited again, and
Yep. If Max continues to win, is there a chance McLaren will favor Oscar to ensure a World Drivers' Championship for the team? I don't think so, only because it is too close between Oscar and Lando. And they, at this point, they've done this. They're going to have to just, go with their decisions, go
Commit.
the same path, that they've done the whole season, which is let Lando and Oscar fight it out themselves. They cannot, it's not, it would be different. Again, I think we said this before. If there was if Lando, let's say, was mathematically still in it, but it would take, 4 Oscar DNFs.
Charles is mathematically still
exactly.
in it. Yeah.
Or even George. I think George is more in it. But if it was that, then I could say, yes, of course, you have to prioritize Oscar. But it's just it's 14 points. That's nothing. Yeah. So it's just not, they can't at this point. Now, if that changes, let's say, I don't think this is going to happen, but let's say for some reason Lando DNFs in Mexico and Oscar wins. If it gets to a point in the next 2 or 3 races where Oscar's lead does grow by a lot, okay, maybe you do. Yeah. But right now, you got to just let them fight it out. Yeah. And hope that
let the chips fall where they may.
It works out in their favor. So many Cybertrucks in Austin. Which driver is most likely to drive a Cybertruck?
It's so true, and a great question. I hate them, by the way.
I mean, I do too.
If you're into them, that's totally fine.
No, I don't like you. I don't like them either. Aesthetically, I just don't like the look. I think it's Pierre Gasly.
I could also see Lewis having one.
Oh, really?
A little bit.
Okay.
Because of the environment.
But see, I think he's choosing a different.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's choosing it, but I could see, because it's the same reason. Kim Kardashian has one. They have the same sort of energy of just I'm rich and awesome and fabulous.
And here's my Cybertruck.
Yeah. Anyway, but I could see Pierre. Yuki might drive one just for the bit because it's enormous.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I hope none of them drive one.
Doc Brown.
Yeah. The race broadcast barely showed any wags. Celebs, did they listen to Carlos on the pod?
I think maybe, but also at one point they did. I was really frustrated. I think I wrote it down. When Kimi had his thing, they were showing a replay of something. Know. Now, I do have to say they were at least showing it in the small screen. But to me, again, I don't know how quickly you can do stuff like this, but it's can we come back to the replay in a minute?
Right.
But anyway.
Okay, well, end here. Do we think the pressure is getting to Oscar?
I guess maybe it could be. I don't know. But to what you were saying earlier, it surprises me because he does not seem like someone who his mental strength seems good all of the time.
Yes.
And obviously, everyone has their moments. So I guess the short answer is yes, it could be getting to him, but also it surprises me if it is.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's been maybe a couple races where things just haven't quite gone his way. And I mean, listen, both Lando and Oscar are brand new to this position. They've never fought for a championship before, not really. And so
certainly not against their teammate.
It's very natural that there's going to be some, inexperience might show, or just nerves or stress or whatever. Mm-hmm. So we'll see. I mean, he definitely needs a good weekend next weekend in Mexico. He needs to beat Lando. He needs, ideally he needs to beat Max too, but he definitely needs to beat Lando, and he needs to honestly get on the podium again. It's been a while.
I just think it's crazy that Lando's first win ever was last year, and now he's contending for a championship. That's
same
wild.
with Oscar.
Well, I know, but Lando's
but he's had a longer time. Yeah. So anyway, okay, let's get to the most important story time of the weekend, which is Hannah meeting Daniel Ricciardo on Saturday at the Enchante pop-up.
Yes.
Walk us through the entire experience.
So I'm at my hotel. I have to check out at 11.
I took 3 steps.
Well, it was funny because I did actually try and see if I could get a late checkout, which I figured was going to be a long shot because my flight wasn't until 4, and I like to get to the airport early, but I was like 4 hours early is crazy.
I'm glad you thought that.
Yeah, and I looked at where the Enchante pop-up was because I also knew it'd be like standing outside, and I didn't want to be sweaty going to the airport. And I genuinely, guys, never occurred to me that he would be there because I knew he was there the day before. No, I assumed he had either left Austin already or because I knew he was there doing content and stuff. I just was like, why would he be there? I don't know. It genuinely never occurred. Okay. I just went because I was like, oh, it'll be, it was a couple blocks from my hotel. I'll go get some content and buy stuff, or maybe not buy stuff, but like I'll just go. Like, why not? I've never been to a pop-up shop before. Yeah. Like I've never done. I mean, for Enchante or any of the driver stuff. So anyway, I Ubered there because again, it was 2 minutes, but it was so hot. And I have to say too, like I don't know, I'm sure we all have our moments with this, but my hair, like I was dry shampooed out at that point, and I just like didn't have the energy to wash and dry my hair and do all the. So I had the hat on. And I'm so glad because I know that if I didn't, I would have hated everything about how my hair looked in the photo. Anyway, so thank God for that. And so anyway, I go, I'm standing in line, and the line really isn't bad at all, which was great.
Well, yeah, because you went like right before the sprint.
Yes, and that was part of my thought too. I was like, well, hopefully most of the people like have either like went yesterday because they're going to be at the track, or they went this morning or whatever. And so standing there, there's a couple other people in line, minorly chatting, like nothing crazy. And then this guy, I say security, but he was just a guy in an Enchante t-shirt who I think, works for the pop-up or the brand. I don't know. But he comes by and he's like, hey guys, can we just get you all to kind of get in a more like straight line? Now, where we were standing, there were cars parked. So okay. I thought someone was having to get the car out of the parking lot.
Got it.
And we were at risk of being run over. And then he just goes, he's on his way out, but he's going to walk down and take pictures with everyone. And immediately I started shaking. The same way when I saw Justin Bieber at church, like, and not as much, but I was just like, because I think when we've seen him like in the paddock and stuff, it's just like, well, of course he's there. He's supposed to be there.
Yes.
And even though this was his pop-up shop, there was absolutely not one iota of my being that thought you were going to see him at all.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, sure, we got this. We can prepare for this. And the girls in front of me were very nice, and they were excited and freaking out. And then there was a couple behind me, and I don't know if it was her boyfriend or husband, but he was way more excited than she was. And she was just like, yes, I'll get a picture of the two of you. He's wearing like an FEA shirt. And I loved the whole vibe.
I should also just add in that at this time, Hannah has texted me and she's like,
Zoe, he's here. And you don't I know, like, she is such a wonderful human. I know how excited she was for me. And I also I did have this moment of like, am I allowed, like, can I do this without her? Like, should I leave?
No.
I know. And I knew you would be like, what the hell is wrong with you if I actually did? But I did feel really bad. I was like, this can't be serious. Anyway, I understand.
I'll share my thoughts at the end.
Okay. So, and I knew you were going to be so supportive and like, it was fine. But I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening without Zoe. Like, this is so upsetting. And as it always goes, we were towards the end of the line. So we had a lot less time with him than those at the front.
Of course.
There were several people who were like, hey, I have this person I know who loves you. It's almost their birthday. It's probably like 6 months from now. And, whatever. So anyway, the girl behind me, I was just like, hey, I'm just going to have my video recording. Like, do you mind just like, holding it up? Like, I'll take screenshots of it.
Smart. Now,
I maybe didn't communicate efficiently with her that like it was already rolling when I handed her the phone and thank God, because there's basically the photo that I posted is from a second video. It's like it cuts.
Okay.
Luckily in both versions, there is the same quote unquote photo.
Good.
He was so nice. He is a little bit taller than me. He might have had boots on, but that was fun. He's just the kindest.
I think he's my height. I think he's like 5'10".
Okay. He's the kindest.
Yes.
I mean, guys, when I tell you, like, it was the thrill of my life, and it was also 14 seconds. Like, it was so short. Everyone's like, what's the story? What's the story? It was really short.
So when he came over, what did you say to start?
So I just said, hi, how are you? And he was like, doing great. Thanks for coming. We took a picture. And then I was like, thank you so much. He goes, oh, no worries. And I was like, do you want to marry my friend? No, I didn't say that. I was trying to be cool. Because, If we ever, I was like, I couldn't get into the Enchante of it all. I'm not about to sit there and start telling him about my podcast because he doesn't understand the impact that it has on the world. Like, a lot of us have a podcast, right? So I was about to just be like, yeah, so I have a podcast with my friend. We end it saying Enchante, and he thinks we have 14 listeners,
He'd be like, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I have to go.
Yes.
I didn't have to do this with you, And, I'm just trying to build rapport for a later date. So, but then I did get this Enchante sweatshirt, which I really like.
Hannah got me socks and a sticker, which is very sweet of her. So I'll always have that.
And I do think,
is this supposed to go some? Oh no, that's the backing. Sorry,
that's the backing for the sticker on your I do like this sweatshirt. A lot of the stuff I was just like not vibing with,
sure.
But I did in fact purchase it because I met him. I was like, it's a souvenir of the best day of my life.
That's the marketing tack. That's why he did all this.
Probably.
Like, he was very smart to say, everyone, it's basically a free meet and greet.
Yeah.
And now they're going to go out and be like, I just met Daniel. I'm going to drop some cash.
Yeah.
So
what was funny too is when I was waiting in line before I knew Daniel was coming, because once I knew Daniel was coming, I was short circuiting. But I was in the back of I was the last person in line. And so people were like, what's going on here? And I was like, how do I explain this to a civilian?
So how did you?
It's a pop-up shop for a merchandise brand of an old Formula One driver. And when I tell you, this was the look I got from everyone. Like, this long-ass line is for what?
They don't get the significance.
He doesn't even drive anymore. I was like, no, but you don't understand. This man has changed my life and the country.
I think what you should say, well, it's been way too long, but you should have been like, imagine if Tom Brady had a pop-up shop. People would show up. You know what I'm saying?
True.
It's like, he's not just
it's just a more
Joe
niche
Schmo.
Sport than you're
He is like a legend of the sport who no longer is in the sport. But like, I understand.
But there was like a pedicab driver who pulled over and was like, ma'am, what's up? I was like, first of all, I recognize this is a nice way to greet someone, but please don't call me ma'am because you're 20 years older than I am. But yes. And so I told him and he was like, okay. And he scurried off with his people in the back.
You know what?
It didn't matter to me. Yeah. And then the two girls who were in front of me were very kind. They had service on their iPad. So we watched
nice.
The beginning of Sprint Quali while we were in line after we saw Daniel to kind of help calm down. They were handing out water in line, which I was very appreciative of. Yeah, it was a great experience.
So
10
good.
out of 10. I couldn't recommend
Well,
enough.
our friend James Coker also met him and said
Thrilled.
he was incredibly nice.
Yeah.
And I think he really had time to talk to him and hang out.
Because I think he had like they probably went before it opened, which was great. And okay, I saw James at the Williams event. We talked for a bit and he gave me a sneak preview of the game that he was playing with like Yuki and Isaac and Liam. Oh. It's so funny.
Oh, good.
And I really hope they all, because I was cracking up and I we also know James and so he's just so funny and he's like, I'm not sure if it's going to translate for them. And I was like, for at least for Isaac, I was like, oh, Isaac, I think we'll kill this. Like, I hope it goes well. But it's really funny. I can't wait for it to go live.
Good. Okay, well, so my perspective of so I because obviously a lot of people were like, oh my God, Zoe, are you okay? Like, whatever. And I mean, of course, would I love to have been there? Obviously. Yeah. Well, number one, I don't love a meet and greet situation.
Totally.
I don't, and it's just like it's a me thing. There's something about with someone that I love. This is gonna sound very selfish. I don't like being one of like many.
Totally.
It's like, oh, you're doing the same thing with like all the other people. Like,
yeah, you're a follower,
or just like I don't like feeling not special. Like I want to have the special interaction that nobody else has had. You know what I mean? So for me, when I've always like imagined meeting Daniel, it's been in a interview, sit down, we are getting to converse and talk situation. Yeah. So that's how I've always like hoped our first meeting would be. Yeah. Of course, would I have like loved to have been there with you? Obviously, I would never pass on the opportunity. But if you had gotten to like really talk to him and like spend time with him, like that would have been a lot more like devastating for me. Totally. Than just like the photo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I actually felt the same way. I was like, I'm glad I didn't have enough time. Yes. Because it just wasn't the time.
Yes. So of course, when you sent me the picture, I was here at my parents' house and I go into my dad's office and I'm like, look what just happened. And I show him the picture and he was like, oh my God. And he was like, did Hannah pop the question? I was like, pop the question. He was like, did she ask him to come on our podcast? I was like, no, like it's not
the time.
It's not the time, not the place.
Our people have to talk to his people.
Exactly. And my mom was very excited as well. She was like, Hannah met Danny Ric.
She's so supportive.
She said that. So they were super excited. No, I was so excited for him. I mean, it's and really what warmed my heart more than anything, even more than Hannah meeting him, was the amount of people in the comments of the Instagram.
I was crying yesterday.
Who were so, like, it was genuinely so nice how many people were, one, so happy for you. And then also people that were like, oh my God, like, I'm so sad for Zoe. Or people that were like, this is like me meeting him.
I know.
You know, like, and I think we have celebrities or like people that influencers or maybe people that who aren't like celebrities, like a Taylor Swift, but people that we like and admire, that if they do something cool, we feel like we did something cool.
Totally.
I can't think of an example, but like, I think there are people out there like that. And so for other people to feel that way about you getting that experience, I was like, that really warmed my heart.
Well, because I sent that same message to James. I was like, I have never been so happy and so jealous at the same, like, I'm so thrilled for you. This is so amazing. And, you know, I've sent it like to Neha, like some of our friends who have had or like when Tasha got to talk to Lando, like all of these experiences. And so for people to be like that with us, I was like, well, that's so nice.
Really, really nice. Like, over 100 comments of people just like being so sweet and so kind. And that really was like better than, well, I mean, I can't speak for you.
Because I think that, I mean, I think for me too, it's like this so cheeseball full circle moment of like, Daniel is the reason that we're here.
Yes.
And like the amount of love that was generated in the comments because I had a 14-second interaction with him is priceless.
It's priceless.
So I'm glad I got sweaty and walked a couple blocks.
I'm so glad you did too. It was awesome. And whenever we get the next chance to see him, we'll have that story. You know, I wasn't there. Oh my gosh, so sad.
But I'm really also excited. And, you know, I'm not sure how often he looks at the Enchante Instagram account, but I am hoping that he saw the repost, saw the podcast. You know, we're planting seeds, folks.
We're planting seeds. And if Enchante wants to do anything in the future, just know that we are available and we're ready to do whatever you need to have done.
If you want to be a sponsor on the podcast, we do already say your brand name all the time.
For a single episode. So, you know, it is... I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about like, I think it was when, you know, seeing or just kind of reflecting on everything that we've done with the podcast and like the places we've gone, the people we've met, like the opportunities we've gotten. I was like, you know, if you would have told us back in whenever that was, like spring of 2022, like, okay, you're going to have interviewed an F1 driver. You're going to have met Daniel Ricciardo. You're going to have been in multiple F1 paddocks. You're going to have, you know, all of these things. We've done 2 hot laps on 2 different F1 circuits. Like all
with
of
Frankie
things.
Muniz.
With Frankie Muniz. Like, we would have been like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, that's so crazy. And so it is awesome to see like what we've been able to achieve, what you've been able to achieve. And thank you to Danny Ric for being a ledge. And, you know, hopefully he'll be in Vegas.
I know, I really
end
hope
up going. I think that, I mean, for him, he knows obviously that like these weekends are his moneymaker weekends.
Totally.
And if he can just show up and show face and meet people and shake hands and kiss babies for like 3 or 4 days, he's gonna make a lot of it's gonna be good for his business.
You know, it'd be really great, and I don't know if he will, but now that he's a Ford Racing ambassador, I wonder if he'll do hot laps.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be
Wouldn't that be sick?
I
hate a hot lap, but strap me in.
Would you do it in a Ford Raptor?
Yes,
100%.
Yeah.
So anyway,
if Daniel's driving, I'll do whatever.
Shout out to Danny Ric, always a ledge.
Yeah.
And here's some more opportunities with him. And I said in this Instagram story, you know, now the only thing that is left for us to do is for me to meet Max without Hannah.
Yeah. Which is fine, because I would hope that it would be the same vibe of interaction.
That would actually be really funny.
Yeah, like, it would be really funny.
It would be really funny if somehow we were like at a race and this would never happen.
Well, it's like I'm in the bathroom.
Yes, I was going to say like if Hannah was in the bathroom and then I got to meet Max or something. That would be.
I'm like in the bathroom and get a photo of the two of you.
That would be really funny, and it just keeps happening. Then like Hannah meets Yuki, and then like I don't know who your second favorite driver is, but like I meet that person.
I don't know who it is either. I don't know today.
Whoever he is. Yeah. But anyway, I'm glad you had a great time. Yeah. I'm glad that it was awesome.
Thank you.
Cherry on top. I mean, Danny Ric, cherry on top.
Never expected it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have Mexico next weekend, which will be great. I'm looking forward to the Mexican vibes. You know, they always are very high.
I'm actually going to be coming back from Mexico.
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah, so I won't be in Mexico City, but I should be back to be able to watch Quali and stuff. I'll be here on Sunday, but
well, hopefully
I'll be feeling
Checo's
the vibes.
dad will be there.
I hope
know.
so.
We'll have to wait and see if he could.
I have to
vibes.
imagine Checo's doing press there.
He's gotta be there. He's gotta be there. I mean, Chenko clackers must be there.
Oh my God, we haven't talked about clackers in forever.
To come back.
Yeah.
Shit.
Botas and clackers.
Botas and clack. We gotta come up with a name for him.
I know.
That's not Botas. Like that's not his actual name.
Well, yeah, I get it.
Okay, guys. Well, again, thank you for the kind words, the support, the messages. Really, like, that is the best part of it all.
I mean, the reason that we're doing any of this is because
it's
you
awesome.
guys care,
so great. Yeah. And hope you all enjoyed the USGP weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Enchante.